Alliance also know is that FNG really likes this Hoodwink hero. That was the other thing that we asked S4 about in his interview. We were like, what's up with this Hoodwink? And he was like, well, FNG was kind of salty that we didn't give it to him more during the majors, so I figured why not give it to him here. We were hot and cold on it, especially after Alliance got completely smashed by VP by first phasing it, but then they won. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not that bad. And it was against a Timbersaw in one of the games, and now here they have Timbersaw on their team.
Yeah, I think we saw at the major that LGD, they destroyed EG's Timbersaw with Axe Carry. And we came to this event, and I've seen, I think, a couple axes where they have Axe against Timbersaw and they're not laning it against him. Do you know why that is, Jenkins?
Why they're not laning the Axe versus Timber?
Yeah, because at the major,
I remember back before either of these heroes got nerfed. So Timbers got nerfed in his reactive, Axes got nerfed in his spin. It was a really like on razor's edge sort of matchup where like whichever hero gets like one extra wave or like support gets a good pull off, like the hero that takes a little bit of an advantage takes a huge advantage, which is why I think you see the polar opposite thing happening depending on the game, where like Timber's either feeding off of the Axe or vice versa, that Timber's doing really horribly. It seems to still be the same as the old days.
Okay. We haven't seen any offlane Timbers beat Axes yet, though, right? I guess there's only the one game at the major. Like, we have 1 point of data.
I think carry Axe, like, starting with the first wave advantage being in front of your tower, as well as, like, a lot of the fives, like, you know, some Ancient Apparition, something like that against Timber. Like, Timber's early levels just really suck. I think it's easier to take an advantage with the Axe, but once you get the level 2 Q on Timber, you can kill Axe. I think we saw Seb yesterday killing Axe when Axe had 2 levels on him or something like that,
okay,
with the 2 points in the queue.
I guess the big thing about the safe lane is that Axe can use Battle Hunger to help his support, and Timbersaw doesn't really help on the side at all.
Yeah,
so you always get to like secure pose and an EXP advantage.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not necessarily just about the hero-to-hero matchup, but also the pairings that both of them have, which no idea if this is going to be a Seb Axe or a Sumail Axe quite yet. It's part of the fun of seeing it as a first phase pick. Meanwhile, for Alliance, I'm kind of coming around to Hoodwink as a first phase pick. I think even though it has like basically 0 flex potential in the hands of Alliance, for one thing, it's a denial pick because Thompson's been spamming this mid Hoodwink, so
Yeah,
he kind of takes it out of their hands.
Get it out. It's just weird. It's just weird to play against. Soxa yesterday with the arrows and the Hoodwink Bushwhack. I mean, how the hell can you expect that? It's like, oh, I got a creep.
80% win rate Hoodwink spammers, but they're in like Guardian or something, so...
Yeah, in this tournament, it was shown as roadkill on the beginning of our meta report. Sub 30% win rate, I think, but there was experimentation. Even the mid Hoodwink from Thompson also didn't look that great when they initially started running it, so needed a bit of refinement, but it seems refined now at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, the thing with Hoodwink is that if you're picking it as like a 5 especially, or a 4 to some degree, you're never going to be like, why do we have a Hoodwink? It has stuns. Yeah. It's just a stunner with a break nuke ulti, like a big nuke, some wave clear. It's annoying in trees. It's like picking a Crystal Maiden. You're never like, why is this hero on my team? I think you'd be more likely to ask why Crystal Maiden's on your team than a Hoodwink. It just always performs fine. On the mid lane, I think it's way more of a risk, which is exactly why Thompson gets off to playing this hero. He just loves those risky kind of mid laners where it's just feast or famine. There was a Reddit poll that won out between feast or famine, or it was like hit or miss or something like that.
It was bread and butter.
Bread and butter, yeah. It's his bread and butter, absolutely. As Aoi was saying.
As I was saying.
Back to you, Aoi.
So right now, one thing that OG is lacking is they're lacking a little bit of team fight. I mean, both sides really. But if you pick Axe and Mirana, you're very single target because Call, while it's an AoE spell, you pretty much only, other than the Sabs, you know, you pretty much only see it hit on one target. And, you know, Potom is mostly picked for the arrow.
They ban out the Lina, and they have a Mirana. I wonder if Phoenix might be a consideration for OG. Still need to figure out their 5 position.
You know.
Tell me.
Sumail does play carry Mirana.
Oh.
But he's not going to do it because it's terrible. But, you know, if there's any team that's going to do something like that.
They go for a different bird, the more popular bird, Winter Wyvern. I doubt we'll see an Aghanim Scepter this game like we did on Zephyr last game.
That was a cool build.
That was a cool build, but I still feel like Locket is the go-to.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even against heroes like Hoodwink and Timbersaw, who you're setting up for Bushwhack as well as his Sharpshooter, all of Timbersaw's abilities, the Holy Locket is still so good. It just seems like it heals through almost anything that you need to have like 5 heroes that abuse the Cold Embrace to actually punish it. Just 1 or 2 doesn't seem like it's quite enough.
I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing more Slark as a response to Winter Wyvern. I feel like being able to build up Essence Shift on Cold Embrace targets is underrated.
know,
It's a pretty hard matchup for Slark though, because you get ultied and you just get stunned after. You can't Dark Pact off the Winter's Curse.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I really like playing Winter Wyvern for Slark.
But if anybody's gonna play it, it would be Nico, baby.
Yeah.
He does like Slark.
He likes
That is
Slark.
true.
He likes to be a shark.
Okay, Skyrath.
Well, I mean that's like the hero for abusing the Cold Embrace.
Yeah, for sure. I think Miranda will probably just pick up a Force Staff though.
Yeah.
It is an interesting idea because they have a lot of magical bursts coming out, right? If you get the Skyrath silence onto anyone, combined with a Hoodwink ulti, like they will die.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering what sort of setup we're gonna see here from Alliance for the Skyrath, because
Faceless Void.
yeah,
I could see that happening.
yeah, that seems good.
Even if you Code Embrace in the Chronosphere, then they can't get Force Staffed, right? You can always hit your Skyrath ulti, your Hoodwink ulti. And this, I don't say it often, but I feel like Alliance's draft has a lot of damage. So what that means is that you can get control in your last 2 heroes, which is, it's sort of a nice place to be in.
Yeah, but core heroes usually lack in control, and they're missing their mid and their carry hero. So I had the same concern with T1's draft earlier, and I was like, they need a core that can stun. They ended up picking Monkey King, which worked out fairly well for them. But usually the damage comes from your mid and carry, not from your supports. And that sounds like a Morphling, and it is a Morphling.
Okay, so Morphling has been picked a lot as a Timbersaw counter. You get level 6, you turn into Timbersaw, and you just kill him with the Whirling Death.
Yeah.
I think we'll actually see S4 skip the Whirling Death this game if he's getting an even lane. But we have seen a couple times where, like, I think Kezu's Timbersaw just killed ILTW's Morphling at level 1. Like, you do have some pressure timings.
Even with the fact that the stat morph got buffed 3x in level 1, it's still, I mean, it was just horrible before, but now it's still bad. It's very punishable, and it's pretty difficult to play Morphling into Skyrath Mage. If Sky is popping off even remotely, you can literally solo kill the Morph at almost any point in the game unless he has a Linkins.
I pair it up with a Wraith King. But yeah, Skyrath, one of the few heroes, the only hero in the game that has an instant cast silence. The only other one is Orchid and Bloodthorn. So that's a rare solution to a Morphling, and yet OG feel comfortable picking it into the Skyrath.
10 seconds remaining.
And then Alliance follow up with the Wraith King, so not going to be a Faceless Void,
Sure.
but still some stun setup for the Mystic Flare.
Yeah, it's like a low cooldown setup with the Skyrath. You can always burst somebody between these 2 heroes, and you have mixed damage. You could survive Axe's Call, but Axe's Call is on a low cooldown, so it's not really that big of a deal with the Wraith King ulti. But the one thing is, the skeletons are so damn annoying for almost all of these heroes, other than maybe Morph. Like, they do a lot of damage to Axe. That's the thing. Axe is kind of low armor, but once he gets the Vanguard, he is pretty happy playing against the skeletons after that point.
10 seconds remaining.
Alliance ban out the Void Spirit. How do you feel about Puck for Limp in this draft AUI?
Well, they have the overall last pick, so I think you sort of have to see what Alliance pick before you
okay.
decide on your hero.
There it goes.
Like, you
Call.
might think Puck is really good for your lineup, but if you think Alliance are going to pick it, then you won't get the chance.
That's true. Yeah, because they're both looking for their mid laners at this point, it seems. Because I guess at this point we've all but confirmed that it's an offlane Axe once the Morphling has been picked up. So Sumail on a more traditional carry, and now you need to find who can Topson build an Echo Saber on. Well, Pango Lear is still in the mix if he wants to go for that. No Pango.
I don't know. I do think some sort of extra like team fight lockdown from OG would be pretty good. Somebody to like run around and fight, because Morphling doesn't exactly want to be active in the first like 10 to 15 minutes of the game. And between these other heroes that they have, unless Axe is extremely popping off or the Mirana, they don't have damage. So that the puck in the bat right actually for them would be good, as well as the Leshrac on the other side. Maybe Ember Spirit would be a solid pick.
I like the Pangolier if they have a good lane for him. Like, you basically have to see what Alliance are going to pick, and they're very low in reserve time, so they'll be picking it soon.
Tiny?
Oh, Tiny.
Limp Tiny.
I think Pangolier, with the build that Thompson goes for, is good versus Tiny. Traditionally, that hasn't been a good matchup, but that's because you don't get that much HP. If you go Treads, Corrosion, and Echo Saber, you have like
That's true. You can
1600 HP. Tiny's not going to burst you.
Yeah, you can survive the burst. Absolutely true. And yeah, disarm against Tiny, very annoying. You just dumpster him in lane. He can't hit you. Can't hit creeps.
Other than that, there's still Razor available in the pool, but that doesn't feel like a very top-cine hero.
Ember's probably fine as well. Honestly, Razor would not be that bad a pick. I want their hero to be able to team fight. So more than the Razor and the Ember, I just like Pangolier for them.
Yo, how about mid Bristle?
I think it's weird
Against Timber and Break. Yeah, the Break from
Oh, Break, that's right.
Monkey
Oh,
King.
there you go for a Monkey
Oh,
King.
okay. Well, I mean, this is
That's
just
a
this
classic.
is just the dumpster Tiny in lane. This is like such a difficult lane for the Tiny to play into.
I do feel like Limp has played this matchup like 40 times in
Oh
pubs,
yeah, of
though.
course, because
So,
everybody plays. It's like Void Spirit versus Monkey and Tiny versus
Yeah,
Monkey.
Limp will go into pubs, so just pick his Tiny pretty early. And he will win the game even though he gets countered.
Yeah.
I want to see who's picking what, just to confirm. I mean, I find it very unlikely that it won't be.
Oh, top
Oh,
and
it could be
Morphlane.
off
Okay.
lane. Off lane
Oh.
Monkey King?
Okay, they're playing the Monkey.
Oh, Seb actually does play a
He
lot
does.
of
He
off-lane
does.
Monkey
He's
King.
spammed
They
it.
might, if they put the Axe safe thing versus Timbersaw, I actually really like that. I think that could be really strong for them.
What's it gonna
No one's
be,
done
OG?
this tournament for some reason, but
I mean, that sounds like it would dumpster the Wraith King
yeah,
in lane.
that sounds really good.
That sounds
I want to see
extremely
it.
good.
It also gives you sort of more of a setup for Arrow. It's not the best setup, but it is there.
I'm on the edge of my
20 seconds
seat.
on one.
Come on, Sumail. Come on, Seb.
They're doing
oh,
it.
they're
They're doing
doing it.
Oh,
Okay, that's
OG are so
interesting.
smart. They're gonna lose this game because we're saying this, but they seem so smart. Really well, composure.
Yeah, so reliable. The stun.
So what is the deal with offlane Monkey King? We were saying that Seb's been spamming this in pubs before the tournament even began. What does it do?
He
Besides
likes
win the lane.
He likes Monkey King. It's fun.
Okay.
But also it dumpsters melee heroes, melee carries.
It's a good hero at winning the lane, as Jenkins was saying, but it's really good at moving around the map early. Like, you don't have to take the enemy tower, but you can make them unable to play there and then make a fast move to mid. If Thompson wins his lane, I think you can expect Seb to sort of leap from trees and come in from behind or hit a stun and go for mid tower first.
Yeah, I think if you win the lane, it's a really good hero for moving around, like a traditional offlaner would, something like a Leshrac running around and killing people. And then that's why the picking condition for it is you need to make sure that there's a hero that you can lane against that you're going to win against. In Wraith King, it's like you just stun the skeletons, they all die.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out offlane Monkey King, and I'm also happy for the debut of this casting duo on the mainstream. Say hello to Avo Plus and Seek and Strike.
Hello guys, and thank you Tsunami for the nice pass. We started in the B stream, now we are here. The panel's very excited for the draft, Richie. They really like the OG picks. Let's see if they are right or if it will Kyle OG. We're gonna see very soon as our match is gonna be underway any second.
Yeah, I will say the last time we casted an offlane Monkey King, I believe, was for the previous iteration of Bait back in DPC Season 1 for Eastern Europe. If you recall, that was back when Sexy Fat went satanic on that offlane
Don't
Monkey
remind
King.
me.
I'm hoping that that Seb has got something different prepared this time around, and I certainly expect that he does. But I really like what Aoi was kind of hinting towards. This is just a super active build. That is something that Sexy Fat at least was able to show us in the last patch, and I'm hoping that Seb is going to be able to wow us with his early game rotations. Because I like the sound of taking that tower away from Alliance early on. It makes their jungling, like when you have to try and protect this Wraith King, a little bit more difficult to protect. Especially because Alliance will be able to move through really, really nicely. I mean, they've got Moonlight Shadow, they've got Monkey in the trees, there's an Axe who eventually, if Sumail goes for the same build, is going to be going for that Manta blink into the Shard, so should be a really, really exciting series.
I feel like it's similar to last year's where you actually get the really quick, constant fight by OG at one point, you know, when Axe and Monkey can come online. The build I've always seen on Seb is actually rushing that Witchblade that used to do a bunch, because of course that works. It's like a better Echo Saber, and then you are also very active to fight. The damage is not as important as the slow, and of course it does work on those statues, so I used to love that build. But I want to point out something from Alliance draft that I really liked as well from them. They're actually copying, or that's not copying, but they're taking inspiration, let's say, from a draft that PSGLGD did in the Major as well. If you actually looked at the Major, the Tiny had really terrible win rate unless he was paired with Ancient Apparition, because the Ancient Apparition allowed him to get those solo kills really easily. And PSGLGD found out that you can actually pair with a different hero, Skyrath Mage, and have a very similar result, with both the damage amplification, of course the Mystic Flare, you kill almost any hero, and it makes Tiny much more useful. I think Alliance is trying to use that strat as well. With one of Hanskin's also classical heroes, he's a really good Scarlet Mage.
Well, we'll see how it's going to be working out for them here. We do have this solo lane up top, though. Seb ought to be able to pretty easily bully away S4, so it's that try on try down bottom. Of course, taking that first point in the Timber Chain just to make sure that Seb's not able to get off those for Jingu stacks and look for a kill. This bottom try lane, though, got decent setup here available for an arrow eventually here out from Soxa using that call.
Well,
So there's a decent amount of kill potential for OG.
I think it's a bit difficult for Alliance because no matter what lane you send the Timber to, you know, you're going to be a bit... it's going to be a difficult lane. You know, that's why the Monkey King offlane was such a good idea as well. Yeah, it destroys Wraith King in lane, but Axe can deal with him nicely as well in this situation because, of course, you have the safe lane advantage, and Monkey King can continue to put pressure against the Timber. One of the classic counters. Not as good as the Luna, but still up there. And then you rotate the Morphling, you do the more strats that the panel talked about, and you have some really solid ideas here from OG from the lanes. And then the snowball is easy, right? They're going to wait for that 20-minute timing with the Axe and just go ham from there. While Alliance want to get that farm on the Wraith King as soon as possible and try to use the Blink Dagger activation on Limp a bit earlier than that.
I wonder how Thompson's going to want to build this one. Maybe the Echo Saber just for a little bit of extra stats. No, of course not. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually try and burst through this Morph lane if you do end up going for more of a stat-style build, as Nico Baby ran down a bit by Sumail. Both supports here for Alliance still holding at level 1 for now. No-Tail eager to abuse that second skill point that they've gotten here, as well as for Soxa.
So you lose a bunch of experience here as an Axe, but as a laner, you're just really strong. And the Scarlet Mage, I don't feel like does as much. I've seen recently the Force Scarlet Mages very often will actually get many points in Concussive Shot or Ancient Seal. And in lane, what you'll do is you're harassed with your nice range and you're actually decent attack damage. But against an Axe, that's just not as viable. The Battle Hunger can be kind of brutal against you. It's a difficult lane to run here, and the Magic Sticks completely cover them from potential Arcane Bolt builds as well. With No-Tail, at one point, maybe he can go for a single point in the Cold Embrace, and that'll keep Sumail nice and healthy. How do you...
Top lane, man. This is already going pretty rough for S4. I mean, Seb is out of control already, 18-4 compared to the 9-0. So, unsurprisingly, this is working very, very nicely for the Monkey King. S4 is resorted to skipping waves.
Yeah, it's tough to like. You're gonna have to do a recovery period for Alliance at some point. They do have some really good ganking potential around that Blink Dagger on Tiny. So as long as his lane goes well, you can combine that with Scarlet Mage and Hoodwink, and you have insane magical burst. That I think it even kills Morphling. Honestly, even if you don't get him before the attribute shift, it's good enough. In fact, talking about Morphling dying,
there it is.
Our observer couldn't even believe it. Lip just surprised him there with an avalanche and murdered poor Thompson. Out of mana, so he couldn't really attribute shift as effectively.
Not just that easy. That's also going to have a little bit of a snowball effect here. We can already see Limp meandering on over and snagging that bounty
Out of cost,
rune.
actually. All right.
Yep.
With the tree on top of that. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, if you can get those early kills, Morphling has really low range, why not? You can go for it, and that gives your Tiny the advantage that you're looking for anyway, because you're going to be playing around him. Or at least that's the idea to me from the Alliance draft. Before OG can get online. So it's not too bad, even if the lanes aren't going ideally for them.
Seb going for, a bit of a laning build here already pretty early on with those boots after the Quelling Blade and the Wraith Band, just to be able to fight a little bit better. Wow, great kill onto Sumail. Acorn shot into the Bushwhack, though. Just going to allow Hanskin and Nico Baby to bump in a little bit of damage. Well, a little bit too much damage, I should say, that Sumail could actually handle.
They guessed correctly the rotation from the Mirana. Go immediately for the Axe as soon as they saw that. And hey, this is the small recovery. But the Monkey King will get online, so Seb could still be a threat for you. He might be able to fight much sooner together with his teammates. In the middle lane, Limp tries to do the same thing again, but Thompson this time has mana, first of all. And second of all, was ready for this. Not full agility when he was caught. Limp won't be able to get that sneaky kill a second time. We're going to have to show the replay a second time. They know. He's a fan of pinball.
Seb's already got an Orb of Corrosion on the way, though, a full Orb of Corrosion, so he's going to be able to give S4 the boot relatively quickly, already up to level 6. Of course, S4 with Timber Chain at least able to get just, a little bit of farm every now and then. But again, it's just pretty much domination here through and through in this top lane.
Yeah, the Timber versus Monkey matchup is not the worst matchup because usually there's a support to help you out and mitigate some of the impact. Compared to a Luna that pairs much nicer with that support, Monkey King is better in the 1v1. But that was the ideal situation you got. And because this is your, per se, weakest lane, is the hard lane, right, for OG, making this work for you makes your bottom lane much easier. And again, stops the tempo from Alliance. Saksa just discovered a bunch of stacks here. They probably will be able to steal this. They have an axe, so I mean, it's honestly the perfect lineup to steal stacks with. Once he gets Vanguard, you're done for. That was Hoodwink mainly stacking it, actually. Hanskin could be in trouble here, but there's no arrow to follow up. They don't want to get a kill. Sumail's just looking for the easy
Oh, he's
stack
got
money.
Vanguard. I mean, even if Sumail didn't have Vanguard, we've got the complexity strat already that Kyle was keen to bring up and take credit for, because of course they did do it. Seb. Rotation top lane from Limp. The Avatos is going to be enough damage along with that Chakram for the kill. And as I was saying, here's No-Tell with Cold Embrace if they needed it, but they didn't. Sumail very easily able to tank these up, so all that efficiency. Thank you very much, FNG, for those stacks. It's going to be a nice goal ejection here for Sumail.
At this point, that was almost insulting to poor FNG. It's like, by the way, let's not forget, this was the squirrel all along who did this for Sumail. Very happy about this, of course. Now at Berserker's Call, I don't think this should be a kill. Nico has a stun, but the arrow's coming in. Unfortunately, a bit too late. Nico can get away. Regardless, since your axe is this farm, I mean, you're happy as OG. You don't need to get any kills. On Alliance side, though, Limp is starting to get online.
They might try again here for Seb. Limp is still idling in the area. They've got a ward down as well, watching over that triangle. But they should know that there hasn't been anyone mid for some time. So they're going to be calling that one out. Seb playing it very safe here underneath that tier 1 tower. Limp just daring him to go try and contest the creep wave. You can see how low they keep that creep just to try and bait him in. There goes Limp yet again. Avalanche into the toss. Oh, he tosses the creep though. Is that going to be enough damage? Not quite. TP's now coming through from the likes of OG as Limp. Oh, they actually will be able to chop down Seb. As for, in the meantime, escaping in one swift movement.
S4 was just on his way out, got Seb along the way, 4 points in Timber Chain. He knows there's no point in maxing reactive armor against the Monkey King. Instead, get the Timber Chain, more damage to farm creeps later, have a better escape, and on top of that, can get kills on Seb. The rotations have been on point by Limp. Again, they're just playing around the Tiny. They know Wraithing will be able to recover. They're just going to get some kills for him, get him the experience required, and also mitigate some of the impact Seb had in the early game. The net worth between Timber and Monkey King now is even. Limp even finds an arcane room. That's going to be great for one more Avatos here.
Yeah, and immediately going for that Blink Dagger, so we're not going to be seeing a very similar build that Thompson tried this morning. You know, going for the Echo Saber. What was it? Kaya? Well, it was Sanjin Yasha, wasn't it? On the
it was Midas into Echo Saber. Sorry, Midas into Blink into Echo Saber, then the Sanjin Yasha. Yeah, we saw the heat map by the way. Limp has been in the top lane for a while. He knows the easiest lane to gank. Now taking some stacks. Thompson wants to disturb him. Here comes the adaptive strike, but Limp, you just can't take these creeps. He's a bit too afraid. Bottom lane, Nico is also fighting against Sumail, but we're interested to see what happens to these stacks as Saksa joins them. S4 wanted to protect his mid laner. Again, with the lack of reactive armor, though, you don't want to fight head-on just yet.
No, not much. It's level 3 already, so and he's got the casual cloak for that magic resistance. So as soon as that he sidesteps that arrow from Saksa, he's not going to be too scared of these guys. They do need to land just a setup arrow to be able to get the bonus damage off from Seb, who actually has maxed the Jingu Mastery, by the way. So he should be... I'm a little bit surprised not to see him take a point in Primal Spring. Not because, I mean, that's kind of normal for a carry to take points into Primal Spring, because that's actually what you farm with. But he's going to be forced to lane a little bit longer. At least his rotation game isn't going to be as strong if he just had a single point in it by now. But I think the idea is to just keep S4 closer towards the bottom of this net worth table, and so far, mission accomplished.
I think the idea is similar to the Midas we saw earlier on Thompson, whereas I don't want to fight now, so why should I build for it, right? The ideally, Alliance doesn't come to my part of the map. I'm not going to try and gank to create space, because I'm going to try to punish them instead when they try to go for me. I'm okay with that. OG has demonstrated this kind of thought process before. Alliance will have to now make the plays and make them correctly, and now the ball's on the Alliance court. Let's see. Limp is very close to that Blink Dagger, not quite yet, as Nico will be desperately trying to find farm. He's not going to take this tower by any means. They're just going to be waiting for Limp here to come online. As FNG, by the way, the king of stacks. Oh my goodness, 9 stacks. I think he stacked at least once per minute. Yeah, yes, actually every single minute. Best support possible.
Bottom. He's going to use the call, try to TP out. There's a Wraithfire Blast in a second, and it will be used to kill the king. The one true king, of course, as Seb now actually having TP'd down bottom. Will channel that ultimate up as 4 is able to escape before we can get off the Jingu Mastery stacks. Oh, looks like he just got it, actually. And we'll be able to lifesteal off of the wave, full HP. should be fine. Nico Baby seemingly ready to use that level 1 reincarnation because Alliance, they're bringing more people over. There's the Ava toss. Just the toss actually needed out from Limp to get the kill onto Seb. They have at least gotten the first reincarnation popped, but no one else here from OG to defend the tier 1 tower.
And Limp not even wasting time. He knows he needs to go mid immediately, not chasing after the Mirana. Just goes back to farm, defend the tower as you mentioned. I think the farm he's sacrificing by going to other lanes, even if these ganks are not always successful, is worth it for the space that you're creating, and Timbersaw being able to get online. Hell, even the Wraithing is getting online just because of the rotations of space Limp has made. And then he can always recover just taking the farm from the neutrals here, which is mainly the stacks. I mean, all this farm you're seeing from the neutrals have been the stacks from FNG, some of which actually got stolen by the Morphling.
Yeah, very true. Plus, this was meant to be even higher. If you recall, we did steal this stack right where Nico Baby's at a bit earlier. Sumail was able to take that and boost his early game here quite a bit.
Hey, Sumail, who's going to be looking...
Sumail.
Oh, that break, that's going to bother him. He can't spin any longer, so he can't take these creeps. FNG knows this, gets close. The Bushwhack only finds creeps, but actually clears the camp. FNG, he makes stacks, he takes stacks. This man, he's playing the jungle game today.
He is. Playing a suitable hero for it as well with the squirrel, I would say. But it's a really, really nice job there. That is going to let them know that there's vision up here, but because, you know, naturally the last troops in the camp are going to be the strongest ones or the ones with the most HP, the fact that he picks all of those up, that means that it's going to be the most annoying thing possible he could have done to Sumail here.
Yeah.
Sumail, who, by the way, is making really great progress towards that Manta style.
Yep. Another sharpshooter. I mean, FNG here, I think, more than trying to kill Sumail, is just trying to disturb his farm by taking away his passive, and I think that's perfectly correct here. Yeah, so we're gonna see what FNG did here. I love that we get a replay
This
for
is the blink
farm.
play
That
from
Bushwhack was on
There
point.
we go, actually. Handskin will open up with the Veil already finished up, and they will be able to catch Sumail, who's just farming one single Ancient camp.
Okay, well, that worked out for them. That was the blink reveal for Limp, right?
Yep, into the smoke play, as well as a quote-unquote Veil of Discord reveal. Not really much of a reveal, but Hanskin sure made it look really damn useful, blowing through Sumail in no time.
Oh, Winter's Curse set up for the arrow. Here comes Limp though, kills No Tail immediately. Can S4 survive this? For now he will. Limp is the target, but Limp is quite tanky, and they just silence Seb. He can't get off the Wukong's command. They throw a tree at him. Seb, a bit slow. They actually used the Hoodwink's tree to Timber Chain too. S4 getting closer to the Monkey King. He will get that kill. Revenge for the lane. They even bushwhack Thompson. He's been silenced. It's not attribute shifting, so S4 wants a second kill. The Berserker's Call stops the checker from being recalled, which means he can't get that last bit of damage in. Alliance won't be able to finish off Thompson, but they do get a nice little Monkey King.
Limp's not going to go for it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just getting the Monkey King was quite a play there as well. The arrow nearly connecting. Oh, mid lane, actually. Saksa, he's got 2 leave charges here. Nico Baby's just looking to force it out of him. There it goes.
That was on point. That was really good. I never expected you to do that play with Timber, so that was very clever.
Oh, really nicely done. Of course, the arrow that was meant to lock down S4 a bit longer through the curse. Unfortunately, it just got eaten by a creep. So OG, we're expecting a longer duration stun out from that curse onto the Timbersaw. We're rudely surprised when it was actually the creep instead.
And S4 now is completely online from what was a pretty bad lane. He's even going to still go for the Kai and Sanj build. So you have pretty much a tri-core here for Alliance, whereas OG, the Monkey King, lags behind. He's a good utility core, doesn't recover as easily as a Timbersaw. Finds Nico Baby, but actually maybe Nico Baby found him instead. Seb, they make him invisible. That shotgun actually broke the bushwhack, not ideal. He's still been broken, but he's going to be able to get away. No dust, because they're all cores. Why would you carry dust?
He's also really tanky. He's got Hooded Defiance already, so even though that was a pretty well-charged sharpshooter, it didn't do all that much to him at the end of the day. And especially with the Jingu stacks, able to go ahead, pardon me, and clear that easy camp and pretty much full heal. Limp is actually going for the Echo Saber, by the way. I mean, he is taking notes. It's a tip of the hat here towards Thompson.
No, I mean,
got the.
This is what they always do. Blink Echo Saber.
Yeah.
Gives you the burst, right? The difference in Thompson's build was definitely that Midas and S and Y. We'll see if he builds the S and Y later. Morphling. The target here, Limp. Okay, smoke broke, so he knows they must be in the camp, but Thompson actually sees him. Oh no, pushed him to the high ground. Limp, but he has a blink dagger. He's fine. He's just biding his time. He's like, I swear, you hit nothing there. I'm nowhere. And he just disappeared. It didn't work out for them. Seb actually took the tower in the top lane. A bunch of shenanigans bottom that lead to nothing, which allow OG to at least take a top tower and expand their map a bit further.
Yep, they got a D ward out of that, so you know it's not all time wasted. At the very least, it was a pretty fresh ward out from OG. So now it's going to be a little bit scarier to go farm in their jungle, where unbeknownst to them, there are 2 Alliance wards in the bottom area of the map watching over. Anyone looking to try and find a little bit of extra gold here. Soxa, though, doing the same on the other side of the map with that aggressive ward. Usually that implies that they're next to try and push a tier 1 tower, usually in the mid lane. We'll see if OG decides to put any pressure here. As actually, it's Alliance who are going to go for a bit of a wraparound.
Let's see. Veil Discord's available soon. This is the combo I was talking about earlier with the Skyreth Mage Tiny. It murders, honestly, anything they find, even a Morphling. Or perhaps a Winter Wyvern who is really keen on scouting them out. No Tail. Oh, Winter's Curse used, so he doesn't want to die. Actually cancel the Blink Dagger with the Arctic Burn. Smart play by No Tail. Really didn't want to die there. I mean, it's honestly worse than Winter's.
He wants to live, yeah. That ward might have been scouted here, but it looks like for now Alliance aren't going to be able to get a sentry out there immediately. So OG farming in confidence in the jungle. Checking quickly on Sumail. His progress towards Manta nearly finished. In fact, now he's got it with that last little spin. So Manta style completed.
All right, broken the Monkey King. Do they have any more stuns? There's a double damage, but no Echo Saber just yet, which means they don't have enough to actually stop that TP. Meanwhile, Thompson actually going to be breaking this tower. There's 2 fights going on. They're trying to kill the squirrel in the top lane. As Thompson, they know there's 2 heroes top, so he's going to be vulnerable and destroyed. Alliance, another easy kill for them here in the mid lane. Top, they can't stop another TP, the bane of Limp for now. But they got a kill on Thompson, so they're quite happy. Hanskin trying to de-ward, found by the Monkey King. Seb is going to finish him off. But they still got a mid laner. I think they're quite happy with that. Even the ward got de-warded there.
Yep, that was him dying for the D ward, which again is very useful because that's now 2 D wards after not freshly placed observer wards, but definitely in the early half of those wards' lifespan. So we're playing with a little bit less vision now over on the side of OG, which makes it harder for Seb to rotate around as freely. It makes it hard for Sumail to know when and if he's able to farm safely, how far he wants to push. So it's a vision game. Really, really important to have versus a team that is going to be looking to be a little bit mobile in this early game. Yeah, but we, you know, the panel was talking about what do you use to punish a cold embrace, and Skywrath Mage is absolutely the answer. Easiest setup in the world here for a nice Mystic Flare, only to be buffed further by that Veil.
I do agree with the point they made about the 4 steps, though. I think you should pick up a couple of 4 steps here this game. Winter Wyvern and Mirana can both pick them up. Quite useful. I mean, Holy Lock is still priority for the Winter, but later on, those 4 steps, not only do they stop you from being killed by the Mystic Flare combo, they might even be able to destroy trees, which gets you rid of the bushwhack. Like, there's a couple of utilities that the 4 step can commit. In the bottom lane this time, No-Till still has that ultimate, but not the time to use it. Instead, I'm going to be looking for a tower here as Alliance, expanding their map further. OG still hasn't gone to the point where they could play their game, you could say, as Axe still not online, needs that shard first.
Yeah, Seb is going for the Echo Saber here, by the way, on the Monkey King. I think it's finished now, flying on the way towards him. This no longer slows, it hasn't for a while, by the way, but it no longer slows, or procs rather, on the Wukong Command ultimate. So that's not a thing anymore. But it is good for farming and for building up your Jingu stacks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going for the fighter build, which seems to be the case here, right? With a hood, kind of build like a tanky Monkey King that can also just frontline. I think it's pretty solid. Like I said, Seb used to build the Witchblade when he was looking for the slow within those monkeys. But then again, he also used to build the Ags at that time because he's a very greedy Monkey King offlane. And probably not the case here. Instead, BKB, play more of the Vanguard Monkey King, seems appropriate for this game. Limp really afraid of that tower. Hit it once, it moved, oh no. Gotta retreat immediately.
Radiant are scanning.
You never know if there's a monkey waiting for you right on top of the trees. Fortunately for them, he is currently bottom. There's Blink already for Nico Baby, so we were talking about getting ready to fight here with this Echo Saber. That is definitely a fighting item at the ready for the Wraith King. We can fight, though, here on the side of OG, because we've got a Vessel with 2 charges in it. There's a kill top lane, though, as Thompson morphs into the Hoodwink to utilize that Bushwhack. Back down bottom, though, they have cut the Tree of Seb, who's just going to look to TP out. Limp, though, is going to be able to blink on in to stop that one. An Avalanche to keep him held down, and that kill is going over to Nico Baby.
Even the small things. Limp knows when you need to cancel a TP, you gotta go for toss first. The Avalanche has a bit of the 0.5 seconds it takes to get there. Meanwhile, we see the Hoodwink kill yet again, as our observers don't miss a thing. But I think those kills bottom are much more important, as is the one on no-tail now. Lions, yeah, you lost the Hoodwink, but he's your 5, so that's equivalent to the no-tail kill we just got. Meanwhile, you being able to take down the Monkey King, really, really valuable. No Wukong's command to defend your plays. S4 seems quite free here.
Yeah, he is not scared of anything. He's got Kai on Sanj.
Yeah, Sumail was trying to farm those Ancients, but S4 is like, no, I want them. They're mine. What are you going to do, Sumail? How are you going to contest them? You can't.
Did Sumail, by the way, in the last game, because I would say in the last game that he did play the carry axe, they did have a little bit of a better start than this. You know, the kills or whatever,
Yep.
kills mean nothing. But I did still feel like a little bit of a better start. Do you remember if he went first for the shard instead of the Blink Dagger? I think
Yes,
he did,
went for
right?
the shard. Yes, but there was a reason
Okay.
for it, and it's actually similar to this game. We'll see, because in that game he was building up towards the Blink Dagger, then got killed right before, and he was down. He lost a fair amount of gold, and then needed to be in recovery mode for a while, which is why he went for the shard first. This game, we'll see. Maybe he doesn't consider like he's in recovery mode just yet. Maybe he thinks he has to fight with his team. Seb is committed to this outpost. Nico Baby also sends a skeleton army away. There's actually reinforcements coming the way of Alliance. A whole 4 smokes. Nico Baby's committed to taking the outpost back, and OG probably knows this is a trap.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were setting a trap, but no, OG just really wanted the outpost there for a couple of seconds. And at least buys space, and it is a little bit of a bait, forcing those rotations, or I guess baiting those rotations, as Sumail instead will go ahead and push up towards top, but in the triangle, in some trouble. There's going to be Thompson. He's going to be able to stay alive for now, and Arrow will hold down Limp, and Seb actually is going to leap in after this one. He's broken, but he's at least got off the Wukong's command, as the Winter's Curse only catching on to Nico Baby. That is going to be Saksa then leaping away, safe and sound, but Seb now back into his own arena is going to be killed off.
All right, Thompson walks back in, though. He's hoping to kill off S4, using his own form with a constant whirling deathing. Nico Baby, though, going on for Sumail. Does he have enough damage? Thompson wants to help him out. In fact, S4 almost dies there, but barely gets away. Here's Limp coming back with the Avalanche Toss combo, killing 2 cores at once. Alliance was just waiting for that combo to get back online so they could finally punish Sumail and Thompson. They almost did it, but the choice to go for S4, the only core that was really staying around, because of course Wraith King had Reincarnation, you're not going to go for him first. It was just tough. What do you kill? The Tiny is a bit too slippery. The Hoodwink and Scarith Mage are nowhere to be seen. Timbersaws too tanky, and Wraith King has 2 lives. It's honestly a loser's game no matter who you pick.
Yeah, and Alliance, of course, getting the kills, they're going to be super happy with that, but also just establishing control here in the enemy triangle. This is going to further delay Sumail's Blink Dagger. He was just about to finish it off, but now he's going to have to hit a couple more small camps before he gets the Blink Dagger online. He will be ready to go, though. It's literally just a couple of camps, a couple of waves here, and then I suspect OG are going to be looking to smoke around that big power spike, because it is going to be able to chop through just about anyone, especially with this Vessel on Saksa. They shouldn't really have too many difficulties here. Second life of Wraith King aside, of course.
Yeah, well, that's the difficulty, though. Your lineup has a fair amount of burst in the Axe and the Morphling, and against the Wraith King, he's the king against these kind of strats. I mean, Nico may be struggling against the illusions. We see it. You know, you're meant to burst on the Wraith King. But if there's a hero that's pretty good against the carry axe, it'd be him. Strength heroes, so nice HP gain, 2 lives, so you can deal with a Monta-style Berserker's Call initial bout of damage. We'll see as OG seems to be preparing for their next fight here with the smoke.
And we'll see who they can find. Into the jungle, or into the triangle goes Seb, leaping up to another tree here.
Oh, FNG.
There it goes. It's going to break. Oh, yeah, that's a kill onto FNG, of course. Just kind of throwing himself into the smoke gank, making sure that his team can escape behind him. S4 might be in some trouble. And he's going to be able to Timber Chain away before Seb can get eyes on him.
Take the smoke, though. I think that's fine, honestly. I mean, that smoke had to do so much because they had to regain high ground to be able to use it. Then you had to go and try to find the ideal kill. And like I said before, that's really Limp. I mean, you got to kill Limp at the beginning of the fight. He is slippery if obviously he's not the first target, but you should be able to murder him. He's not that tanky. And then you get rid of a big bout of burst damage that Alliance has.
We've been holding on to a couple of smokes here, by the way, for OG. Saksa just had 3. He's now down to 2. And they kind of need to use this period to kind of fight themselves back into this game. Of course, kills don't mean anything, but the 7k net worth lead is a little bit troubling here for OG. Especially because a lot of this is going to be on the Wraith King, who now has got the S and Y on top of that Radiance and Blink Dagger. So he's big.
Yeah. And Axe...
He's a shark.
Axe is going to struggle to kill him twice. That's the goal. We have the full build now, though, for the Axe, so He's come online now. Perhaps he might wait for the BKB. That will nullify some of the impact by Alliance, but Wraith King's only going to get fatter and fatter right now. In fact, you even might see Tiny start to transition into being more of a carry, right? Rather than just the burst damage. The Assault Cuirass is the first step towards that, giving you that attack speed so you can actually hit. Now with the Shard, this transition's a bit smoother, as you actually can become a nice late game carry by having the tree grab always available to you.
Hanskin is basically just building into anti-Morphling. He's got now the Aether Lens, the Veil to amp his damage, and longer cast ranges, of course, and immediately into Aeon Disc. Just knows if he can just kind of distract this Morphling for a little bit in the fight, but and always have that kill threat over him, it's just something that we can't ignore.
Nico Baby has a haste rune. Feels invincible, but is he? No, he thought about it twice. There's that moment with the haste where you think, I can do anything, and then immediately, yep, you go into a play like this. S4 is going to be bursted down. Now Sumail, having completed this build, does deal a fair amount of damage, and Timbersaw is no longer a big obstacle. Or
another
a tanky
smoke
obstacle.
play here. OG, there's blood in the water. They're going to go hunting for a shark now. A Seb into the triangle. Smoke will break, and they do have eyes on him. He's going to hop back down. Able to avoid the Radiance Burn. Arrow is just going to miss FNG. Mystic Flare, good damage onto Seb. Silent Stub. He is going to get the Cold Embrace heal. That'll keep him alive for now. In fact, look at the healing. He is now going to get aided now by at least the Winter's Curse. Sumail with a two-man call. Underneath that tier 2 tower, Hanskin will fall. Yuko Baby still having his level 3 reincarnate, but its Limp is the one in trouble now as the Axe army slowly spinning him to death. Now unaided by that Vessel. Limp continuing to try and run away. As Thompson will waveform after him, and it's going to be Sumail with the dunk. Curing the kill and ending a 6-time unstoppable streak here on Limp.
On point teamfight execution by OG. That was exactly what we were talking about, right? I mean, the Timbersaw is a freebie there, sure. But then afterwards, you being able to kill the Tiny first, that was the way you had to do it. You catch the supports out of position. The Axe is not bothering or concerning himself with the Wraith King. On top of that, what actually saved the Monkey King there was the Holy Locket. Let's not forget that you can actually use it on teammates. And that extra bit of healing towards the end allowed Seb to stay alive. Really, really well played, that team fight on OG. This is what we saw, by the way, last game they played with the Axe carry. This just a bit earlier, where the team fights, they reach a point where they're chaotic, and OG just rubs their hand together, like, this is where we relish, this is where we were born. You know, where the chaos is one of us. And Alliance needs to have to deal with this. Unfortunately, Quincy crew could not do so, but Alliance may have a better plan. They have the heroes to do it, for sure.
Yeah, they got to be like super certain that if we use Mystic Flare and the Ancient Seal on someone that's not the Morphling, that you do end up getting that kill. Because at least then it's like an even fight, right? Or at least it's a 5v4 in that sense. Because if you use that combo of spells and Morphling is not affected by this, he's just going all in. There's nothing really that he's too scared of this game. You know, Bushwhack is always a threat. Wraith Fire Blast, he can usually Manta dodge. And that's kind of about it. At this stage, he's too tanky for Limp to just solo burst him.
To see that again, right? There was the Mystic Flare used, as you mentioned, but immediately saved. And with that, once you got that Cold Embrace, you were lacking actually the magical damage. You already used all your burst. There was the Holy Locket I was talking about. The Radiance might have been able to sort of take him down with the Arcane Bolts, but the Holy Locket made sure that was impossible. Alliance, now they're rethinking their strats. They gotta find the solo kills, make it so these engagements are not as difficult, so it's not a full 5-on-5. But Seb, oh, he actually got bushwhacked. There's the Mystic Flare. This time is going to work as the Sharpshooter was there to take off Seb's head. Sumail is the next target. He does use the Berserker Skull. Extra armor for now. They hit him with the arrow. Saksa protecting his king. And what a royal guard. Sumail will be able to get away thanks to Saksa's efforts. No till 2.
He could maybe almost blinked right on top of where Sumail was TPing away. That was a little close for comfort. But he's not going to be able to find him. I'm sure Sumail saw the Radiance burn and maybe went a little Monk-ass, but he's all good to go. TP in top, and he's going to continue farming BOTs now on the axe, so he's very, very fast.
Thank you for that comment. Top tier analysis. We got the Ethereal Blade as well on the Morphling, so now we can say the Morphling kind of came online, right? He went for like a stats build, and then deviated into the shotgun a bit later. Gives you the viability of going for both, not immediately into the shotgun, which would have made you a bit too weak this game. I agree with his choice. But if it's Thompson, so at some point he has to build a Ethereal Blade. It's in his contract, right? So
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is.
Because OG's
Speaking
green, of course.
Oh, okay. Saksa, though, is going to get hit by the silence and cut down rather quickly. Nico Baby very eagerly getting right into the face of the Mirana and hitting her with Wraithfire Blast. And he's going to be able to do that a little bit more effectively as he's just about to finish off this overwhelming blink. Then into the Eye of Scotty for our Nico Baby Wraith King.
Okay. Why overwhelming blink first? We've seen this before from... Was it Nico Baby that we were casting that did this as well, where he actually kind of rushed the overwhelming blink to a degree?
Yeah, I believe it is.
So what's the idea here? Cancels Blink Daggers and Axe, stops Primal Spring, so that's pretty useful. A bit more magical damage, I guess, on the Winter Skirt or the Cold Embrace. So if you still have it off cooldown by some miracle, you'll be able to burst down someone that's been saved. That could be a potential. Also better farming.
Yeah, it's good versus these illusions of Axe as well, because it basically, removes that attack speed bonus you do get from the counter Helix.
True,
And other than the Manta style, you don't really build too many attack speed items on a carry Axe. So that is going to be a little bit of a large DPS. It is a pretty big minus to the DPS here. So there you go, Nico Baby. Oh, there's the blink right into the face of Seb. As now in they go for this team fight. They've already gotten rid of No Tail, so there's no Winter's Curse available. Nico Baby in a bit of trouble. Sumail just running him down as Seb and Thompson both looking to try and get a handskin. They have cut down the tree of Seb, though, stunned for a couple of seconds. He now will look to rejoin the fight. Thompson in the Timbersaw Born, diving underneath the tier 2 tower, will lose the Aegis. The rest of Alliance look to set up around him for the second life.
Yeah, Bushwhack misses, but they do have the toss. They continue with the Wraithfire Blast. Thompson is full strength, though. How are you going to bring him down? 2k HP left. Alliance has to give up on Thompson, but they might still be able to find some stragglers. Let's see. Oh, never mind. They go for Thompson again. He took a different path. Thompson perhaps a bit too cocky, but was it justified as actually going back in? Thompson was just baiting. Sumail's going for the squirrel. Dunked. Goodbye to FNG. And with the E-Blade, Nico Baby, how are you going to hit anything here? S4 or Nico Baby, they're going to go with a man against the man with only one life. But they don't want to get out of this Wukong's command.
Oh.
Nico Baby re-engaging yet again. The arrow misses. Want to kill Seb, actually toss it forward. Says, I'll deal with Seb. You go for the Mirana, and Seb is already dead. Limp, acknowledging he was strong enough to finish off the Monkey King. Saksa will die to Handskin. Alliance end up turning the turn of the team fight.
Yeah. Tide has been turned quite easily there over for the likes of Alliance. I think it ends up here in their favor. Yeah, 4 dead for OG. The fact that they're able to dispatch of No Tail. It was Aegis as well. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just Aegis on Morphling. It wasn't a death, that's what I'm saying. It was 3 dead plus Aegis.
Good point.
Technically.
Good point. 3 dead plus Aegis. I mean, it's huge, though. It's so big that they're able to get rid of No Tail immediately in that fight, because then there's no concerns whether or not they group up anymore. You're not really that scared of them after that. Ends up biting them a bit in the butt, because Sumail, it does, much like ILTW did yesterday, hold that thought, they actually are able to catch Thompson. Saved a bit, though. The magic damage is not enough. There's so much healing right now onto the Morphling, but not enough. At the end of the day, Limp is going to be able to right-click through him as soon as he pops out of that Cold Embrace. Nico Baby might consider going up high ground, but can't. Now that the Arctic Burn is going to put that Blink Dagger on cooldown.
I have liked that the overwhelming blink pickup, though. He's able to just chase after the supports really easily. An issue with an extra bout of damage, which of course gets boosted by the Ancient Seal Veil Discord. It's been good here for Nico Baby, and the extra tankiness is definitely welcome. Now they can go for some towers, using the Assault Cuirass, of course, to their advantage. Another overwhelming blink, hoping to burst out the Mirana. They use the Mystic Flare, everything in their power. Yule's hit them to dispel that silence. She needs to leap away. Saksa, they hit her with the Spirit Vessel. She's down. They've lost Saksa, but exchange, OG might be able to take down Limp. They're chasing after him. BKB has been activated. Seb really wants this kill, but Limp, he's only getting away. Seb will jump on top. That's going to guarantee it. As Seb sets up the Wukong's command, doesn't want S4 chasing after him, but S4 still wants to kill Sumail. Who's going to protect him this time? Nico Baby so close to die, but he still has a second life anyway. Sumail's just a bit faster thanks to the Boots of Travel, so Nico Baby will have to settle for No Tail. As Seb has been left behind, Alliance is now starting to sandwich him. They all go against Seb, who gets healed by the Cold Embrace. No Tail will have to pay for these sins. Overwhelming blink, and No Tail's down for the count. That's a dieback, but still, going for Seb, guaranteeing the kill on the Monkey King as the squirrel dies. All the woodland creatures are falling, and now it's only the big beefy boys fighting it out. They don't want to continue this. Alliance is done with all this bloodlust, but OG is not done yet. As they go for S4, who has an Aeon Disc. He still has the Timber Chain, but so does Thompson, and the shotgun on top of that Lotus Orb, so he won't be slowed. Instead, Nico Baby, actually from behind, he saw the Mirana, wanted the Mirana, but instead he's only going to find his own death. Nico Baby, the greed. That was an extremely greedy play by him, and he didn't even get the support as a result.
Yeah, that was a bit brutal. Good buyback out from N0tail in the middle of that really long fight to make sure that he's able to at least bait them out a little bit longer. Sumail just looking to drag people back in. I mean, that fight started off, I mean, there's so many things to recount. Limp really making the Tiny look just super broken as well, able to blink in and just kidnap Sumail, who has got to use BKB super early on just to get back onto his own high ground. Oh, it's a close one, but you can't just get into the fountain of OG that easily. You know, they're the ones that usually want to go swimming first.
What I'm kind of loving about these fights is that, honestly, I can't really tell who's winning them, and I think neither of the teams can either, because they keep baiting each other, and sometimes I'm questioning if they're baiting themselves to a degree. I mean, I think the end Nico was a bit too much, but all these plays that Alliance is making, like, it's this philosophy that Alliance has been taking that allowed them to get all these sneaky kills out of it. So even though maybe that play was a bit too far, I don't disagree with the idea behind it, which is let's keep trying to get these sneaky kills where OG least expects it. We have insane pickoff potential, but in 5-on-5 we're a bit weaker. So the best advantage, the best way to use this is to use OG's chaos against them.
Yeah, I thought I juked myself out there for a second. Seb had an item on the core I didn't see. It's the Helm of the Iron Will, and I thought he just had queued up a Divine Rapier casually. I was like, Seb, not like this. Go Satanic first.
Yeah, it's Nullifier this time because he saw the Aeon Disc. He's not going to let that happen again. I think the Aeon Disc was a good pickup. Oh, the smoke. This is somewhat of a bait. Sumail actually walks in. He has a roll on blink himself, but Sumail will be able to last this. He has a BKB. In fact, they're going for the Wraith King first. Bit difficult though. Nico still has the second life. Winter's Curse to reset the fight. Actually, to retreat perhaps? OG, they have the low ground right now. They need to recover the high ground if they really want to fight this appropriately. Thompson turning into the Wraith King. Got the crit out of it. Yeah, actually, they're going to kill Nico with the illusions. Not going for Limp. Mystic Flare though, it's bursting out Sumail. Wasn't expecting that amount of damage. Golden Breaks at least used. Saving Thompson. He has been silenced though, but he is full strength already. Nico Baby somehow still alive. He hasn't even lost his first life. Instead, it's poor little Thompson trying to get away. Even with full strength, he doesn't have the resilience to tank all of Alliance's damage, and they'll lose 2 here, OG. Thinking they could do it, but unable to bring down the Wraith King even once.
Yeah, he ends up getting level 25, I want to say halfway into that fight. So he's got that Mortal Strike cooldown, which of course is going to be a huge amount of lifesteal for him every single 2 seconds. On top of this Eye of Scotty in the middle of that fight, making this a really difficult engagement for OG, because as soon as they go in, they're kind of just committed, whether they like it or not. It's going to be second Roshan of the game, Aegis Cheese, and that Aghanim Shard, as they do at least be able to find the courier of Nico Baby in the secret shop. But it's not going to do much to stop them from completing Roshan.
I like this strat. Alliance realized that the true weakness that OG has is the reincarnation. So, like, why don't we just give it to a second hero? And then that way, 2 heroes are unkillable. It's literally 1,000 IQ plays here. He also got shard out of it for Tiny, so that's nice.
Radiant's top tower is under Radiant's top tower.
So I think the reason Sumail ends up not having Manta Style there was because he's got Flicker, so he's depending on being able to use Flicker to make sure he can get out of... Oh, hold on, S4, Aeon Disc, of course, being dispelled by that Nullifier. Nico Baby, he's immediately in on a N0tail. They want to stop this curse from coming through, but they've got 4-step Sharpshooter just barely out of reach here. As they drag back Nico Baby just barely. He's going to pop this Minotaur Horn, though, just to be able to escape back down to the low ground. But the rest of his team is here to support him.
Okay. Alliance biding their time. They know that there's no need to rush this. They'll just wait it out. But OG, because of the axe, they also have some pretty solid lane clear here. And some good high ground defense. Mind you, we haven't been able to see it because Nico Baby, as soon as he sees the high ground, he's like, oh, I have to jump for this? Oh, easy. And he just blinks right forward, trying to kill one of the supports here. Oh, we're gonna see the blink. There's the sharpshooter that Richie was mentioning. Just barely.
Clip the wing. Luckily, it's a wyvern, not a dragon from Game of Thrones, so it doesn't go down instantly.
That's true. Good thing for N0tail, because if they lost the Winter Wyvern there, they would have been without any counter initiation options, and that'd be a real pickle for OG right now.
They're just not really that scared, though, of the rest of the counter initiation. Like, Seb is mean and he's tanky for sure, and if he's allowed to, does a lot of damage. But with the burst that they have, they can pretty easily get through him.
They figured out the Hoodwink has the shard now.
Decoy.
Yeah, decoy. Honestly, pretty good shard though. It's the only issue, of course, is that you need to you can control the illusion. You need to be quite clever with it, but I think it's quite a good shard. If it wasn't for the long cooldown, I think it'd be better. But it's 1400 gold, so what? Are you gonna give it another OP ability? Oh, what, Seb?
DKBs, he'll be able to escape. That's also going to give the early warning system for Thompson to go ahead and back away, as he was also farming nearby. S4 though, closing the map closing the cap rather across the map rather quickly with that 25 talents. Thompson is going to try and fight him. He's got Sumail here, so it's a bit of a bait. Aeon Disc is out. They do not have the the nullifier that they need. FNG though on the other side of the map, as Alliance are still looking to poke and prod in the base. And they're losing. OG are losing, actually. Saksa in trouble, saved momentarily by the stun, but he leaps down to the low ground and is picked off by FNG. There's a dunk at least onto S4, who does not have buyback. But we gotta get back and defend these barracks.
S4, you had to die for this as Alliance, and they're taking the racks. Your death was worth it, don't worry, brother. Oh no, the Tiny got caught out with a Berserker's Call. But Nico Baby actually wanted to fight this. They don't need S4. Nico Baby alone can do this. They hit him with a nullifier. Oh no, actually he avoided it, never mind, because he was invisible in time. Sumail. There's still the Ray Fire Blast. Nico Baby's not leaving your base, it seems like. Nico Baby's confused, he thinks this is his base now. He's going for Thompson, this time the nullifier will hit. As Thompson desperately trying to murder the squirrel. Unsuccessfully though. We still have cheese on Nico Baby, so I think he's kind of fine, but he might realize that without the Timber Saw, there's just no need to play this aggressively.
Classic S4 play, distracting enemies so that your team can take base. It's going to work out pretty nicely as they are able to secure the entire top lane of barracks. Wow, already Hanskin turning that Aether Lens into the Octarine core. We can see here how this fight started off. Sharpshooter. Oh, wow, they just completely assassinated No Tail. Didn't even see it coming.
That was a very dramatic death with the slow motion as well. That looked like Game of Thrones there for a second. Thompson gets an illusion. Oh, he's baiting it out. Of course he is. Nico Baby really wanted that illusion room, but will that be punished? We'll see. Nico Baby still has a second life and the cheese. Might be forced to use it relatively early as Lim comes back in. There's the cheese.
They got Thompson.
And Thompson will fall. Winter's Curse though, reset the fight, but without Thompson, are you going to have enough damage? The Axe Illusions are hitting, they're spinning as well, and they want
good arrow.
They will take it. As from behind, Monkey King sets up the Wukong's command. Seb, how are you going to survive this? You, maybe with a cold embrace, the force that we're talking about, it's going to work out. It's going to save Seb. Nico Baby still has that second life though, and Seb will regardless fall. Limp came back into this to die. That is not what he was looking for there. Barely got away with his life earlier, and now just sacrificing it. But will that be in exchange for Sumail? We'll see in a second as S4 is trying his best to kill off his axe. They need some sort of stun. FNG, where's your pushback now? Using the sharpshooter in desperation. But that's not going to stop that TP. Nico Baby instead finding a poor little Morphling, stunning up Thompson. Thompson has been hexed, and they want some roasted pig for dinner. The question is, will they get it? The Flicker helping him out with the Voice Fire Blast, settling the kill. Alliance not leaving any survivors. That's a dieback for Thompson.
Yeah, it is. Hanskin, he dies back for that, but he does so much damage in this fight. He ends up getting the kill credit for the death on the Seb. And now, I mean, you've got buyback on Seb. Saksa's back in 9, but Morphling is the bulk of your damage here. Morphling's been able to distract him long enough. As Nico Baby, there's blood in the water, immediately diving tier 4 is onto Sumail. Gets braced now, at least by No Tail. Make sure he's healed up aplenty. As forward Timber chaining away, Sumail now looking to displace Nico Baby here. A little bit with that call. Nico Baby taking a bit of damage as Seb is going to be able to set up the Wukong's command around him. Nico Baby, though, right back in onto No Tail, trying to at least get rid of these backline supports. S4 hit with Nullifier as the dunk didn't go through. Out from Sumail, he tried, but there's too much HP for Nico Baby. He's not even dead yet. Life stealing even more off Seb as the stun will connect. He'll finally end up losing that first life. But that's a dieback now on Seb.
No, I don't know how you're going to defend this now. It's Axe versus the world with the help of a Mirana. Sox has done so much before, but no, Soxa won't even get a chance to help here. He has to leap to safety. Instead, they're going for Sumail. Sox has already been bursted. Limp wants the last one. It's going to be 4 Axe. There's 3 toss charges. Sumail won't last this. The buybacks come out, but Alliance, they're now running rampant in the OG base. OG has 2 people to defend this again, but this time they only have a single life. And that better be a valuable one.
Tox doing his best. He did it yesterday versus Enigma, just trying to get the enemies to dive a little bit too far, but Alliance focusing onto the buildings. Tier 4 is down. There's the jump back in. No Tail stunned for a second. Chakram is out and already killed off by the tree. Is going to be No Tail. Sumail now right back on in as they toss him up and down and up again. That time they got an illusion, but it's not going to matter. Throne is down. It's going to be Alliance taking game 1 over OG.
What an impressive performance. Oh, FAG's happy. FAG's very happy. What an impressive performance by Alliance, honestly. I don't think I think OG played a really good game. I think their draft was really solid. Yeah, there were a couple of haphazard plays maybe into the mid game, but it was just Alliance. It was just Alliance doing so well. OG identified the issue halfway through the game. They started killing the Tiny. They actually used their power spikes really well. And the only issue they had was that they were not up against the ideal draft for an Axe carry. I think the Wraith King showed. He just became unkillable at a certain point, and Alliance abused that to a ridiculous degree to just destroy OG towards the end. They didn't really have a chance as the game progressed and Wraith King got more and more farm.
Absolutely. I felt like they've also played really nicely around that Morphling, especially during that buyback fight, just kiting him around and giving just a little bit of a fight for OG to try and latch onto and take it away. But speaking of taking it away, don't we wave on over to our panel and say hello to Tsunami and friends?
Well, hello. Yes, it is indeed the conclusion of game number 1, and Alliance cheesing, they're smiling, they're having a grand old time. It was a fun victory. And let's go to a break before we figure out just what made it all that fun.